guys, welcome back to the channel. I am Dalton, this is Arms and Farms. Corn planter seems to be working fine. Those of you guys who watched my video the other day, we were having issues with it going up and down. And it seems to be doing just fine now. So everything that I read said that there's a check valve on the block back there that probably was either getting stuck or the valve needed to be cleaned or something along those lines. Leave it right there. Yeah, so it was having some kind of a check valve issue. Now, when we looked through the book, the valve block that's on this corn planter wasn't the same diagram of the valve block that was in the book. The book and the planter weren't matching up. It says it's the S1 check valve, which I've been on the phone with Land Pro half the morning because I would like to get a new one of those valves coming just to be sure, because if this starts acting up again, you know, don't know if you guys can tell, it's raining again. So that means in the last few days we've had, I think Friday we had over 2 inches of rain. Saturday, another half an inch. Now it's raining again on Monday. So I think when it's time to go, we're going to have to get right after it. We can't be dealing with silly issues like this. So I'm trying to get another valve on its way. But even Land Pro's kind of confused. We're all a little bit confused as to where the valve is, what the number in the valve is. That's the problem, is we cannot find the valve. Brian, our mechanic, was out, and even he was kind of stumped. Like, I don't know. The valves on the block are labeled. None of them are labeled the valve that I'm looking for. We've looked on the back of the planter. It's just kind of interesting. Unless the valve has another number that's not S1, which wouldn't make any sense, because everything in the diagnostic section of the corn planter book says when you're having these issues, literally if one side's going up or down more than the other, if it's not level, if it's not lifting and lowering, if it's not lifting, if it's not lowering, there's like 2 pages on that exact problem, and they all say, check the S1 valve, check the S1 solenoid. Now, I found the S1 solenoid. Everything seems to be functioning properly with the solenoid. But the valve is nowhere to be found. So that's kind of interesting. We're working on that. We're trying to get that figured out. Currently, it's, like I said, it's working fine. So maybe that valve was just stuck and now it's freed up. But either way, I would like to get another valve coming for that. So yeah, that is what it is. I was planning on pulling this out in the driveway and testing it to make sure we got seed and fertilizer coming out of every unit, but being that it's raining, can't do that. You could test the seed that way, but you wouldn't be able to see the fertilizer in wet dirt. So what I might do, I might lift the corn planter up. We had 4 bags of a variety. I split the 4 bags up on the 12 rows just to get a little bit of seed in it. So I might lift it up and manually turn the drive wheel, and we'll see if there's seed coming out of every row. I think that's what we're going to do to start the day off here. Hit that like and subscribe button, guys. Follow along. This is the drive wheel that I'm talking about. When you lower the corn planter down, it hits that tire and rolls, and that's what drives it. So if I turn this manually, which the tire's going that way, this would go this way. And I should be able to... This might be a two-handed kind of project here. I'm silly. It goes this way, not the other way. So if I just keep going like this, yeah, I think it's going to be a two-handed project. Alright, so actually what I might have to do, I might have to get a pail or a tray or something to lay underneath it, because seeds bounce. Seeds, seeds. It might just, yeah. Maybe I'll get one of those boxes I'll put under each row unit here. As such, just gonna set that there. This is significantly easier when you can just drive it in the driveway. You'd be amazed how hard that thing turns. Two seeds. No seeds. I know these two are working because I can visually see them working, so we won't have to test those ones. A couple of seeds. So you guys get the point. We're gonna buzz down through, hammer out these quick. Bingo. They're all dropping seed. I'm gonna take a broom, sweep this stuff up. Then it would be checking fertilizer. I went through, I popped all of these fertilizer tubes off, and I put air through them to make sure that they all spat. You can see down up front there. Well, I can walk you around there. See these little puddles? Pop, 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 all the way down through. Made sure all those lines are clear. Made sure all those orifices are clear. So they're all good to go. But I suppose I can go fill up that fertilizer truck with fertilizer. We could back up in here and put a couple 100 gallons on the planter, and we could probably manually test those too, as much as I'd like to do it out in the driveway. You spin this one, that'll drive your fertilizer pump, which is right here, and essentially do the same thing I just did. Check each row. That'll be easier. I won't have to move a box. You'll just be able to see where fertilizer's dumping out the front. Also, you'll be able to look on the front here and see that all of these fertilizer tubes are filled up as well. All right, so I pulled the truck over here to our 1034O towers, and I called Grandpa because I remembered last year we had two of these style pumps and we had one other one. I think the other one was a Honda or something. The Honda one had nothing but issues. So what we ended up doing is we just used this pump. We'd set it down, load the truck, put it back on, get rid of the truck. It worked, but it was kind of a pain. We have this pump here, but Uncle Todd uses this one for spraying, and we can't really, so like right now he's spraying nitrogen. If you move nitrogen to 1034O, they're a different thickness, consistency, so it kind of screws with his rate application. So Grandpa said, why don't you just go to Harbor Freight, get another one of these Predators. These are good, real good pumps. They've done really well for us, even though they're cheaper and from Harbor Freight. They've actually outlasted our Hondas every time, which I don't know the difference, but they work really good. So I'm not gonna load that. I'm gonna run and get one of these pumps on my lunch break. So new order of business. We're gonna take scrap metal back. As you can see, the truck is towered right up. We'll get rid of that before we get into spring work. This truck, I made a video of this last fall. This truck's only job is a scrap metal truck. We just park it right here. On the other side of this is our shop, so it's nearby the shop. We used to try jump starting it and all of that every time because it literally runs once in the fall, once in the spring, 2 miles down the road and back, and that's all it does. It's pretty shot, all kinds of issues. We had put new batteries in it a few years ago, but the problem is when they never run, they end up going bad. They're so bad you can't really jump start it. So what we ended up doing, we just put an air chuck on the tank. So we're gonna grab the service truck, air it up, pop start it, and we will be on our way to get some scrap metal. And then on our way to get some lunch and get a pump. All right, got a chain on the 8330 here. I believe Tyler's got the service truck. Yep, got the service truck backed up to that. Airing that up so we can release the brakes and pop start it. I know this seems hillbilly, guys, and I'm generally the kind that says fix it if it's broken. This truck's just not worth, I promise you, it's just not worth the money it would take to actually get it fixed enough to, you know, start and go the 2 times a year you need it to. It's much quicker. Air it up, pop start it, be a decent driver, don't stall it, and you'll be fine. All right, we're up inside the old gem. See if she'll come to life here. kind of a sketchy ride. One of these times, this truck's gonna make this trip and not actually make the trip, and it's gonna stay down there. Come on. That throttle sticking out kind of makes it hard to float gears. Oh well, grind them till you find them. Yeehaw! All right, we made it down here. We are weighed in. Let's see if we can get her dumped off. There we go. Ups and daisy. Well, that was relatively painless. That's a pretty cool grapple excavator thing. I'm dumped off, so I just got scaled out. Now I got to drive around and head on into the office to get the check for it. Traffic jam. Yeehaw. Well, we made it out of there. They're real great guys down there. And girls, of course. Must be they watch my channel. They asked me what the difference between a 6-inch farmer and a foot-long farmer is. I just texted them. I said, the difference is one milks Jerseys and one milks Holsteins. I said, you decide which is which. They sell some raw milk. I don't know how many Jerseys they milk down there, a dozen or so, and sell raw milk out of a little stand. It's really nice, but I was just busting on them a little bit, so that's fun. But it is really convenient having a scrap yard right down the road, so as long as we can make it 2 miles back home, we will be all set. So on our way back to the farm and see what other chaos we can get into here. Neighbor's got his mower set out there. That is one of the coolest setups you will find. You won't prove me otherwise. He's got, I think, 2 of those setups, triple mowers, some as mowers on, I think they're 2 150s, 2 155s, whites, something like that. He showed them to me one time. They got like a sprocket welded onto the rear PTO shaft that has a chain down to a shaft to the front of the tractor with a chain back up. And that's how they power that front PTO. It's the coolest old rig around. Those old white tractors got a place in my heart. We don't have any, but first tractor I ever drove was a 2105, and those rigs are just the coolest old rigs to see. Home stretch. I think the old girl's gonna pull it off again. Old DT466. Old binder getting her done. I remember the last load of feed we pulled with this thing. It's a sketchy truck to drive. Once a year, it's not a problem, but she's not built for the chopper life anymore. Solid. She's a little tough, but she made it. Hell yeah. Well, it's after lunch now. Did end up getting the Harbor Freight. Come to find out, none of us have our wallets on us. We don't have it. I don't think Harbor Freight allows us to run a farm account through them. So Harbor Freight's going to be a tomorrow thing. We'll get that pump tomorrow. In the meantime, I'm going to get this 8330 washed back up, clip back onto the merger. Kind of made a mess of it when I was out rolling that one hay field that was all rutted up. So we'll get this thing cleaned up, get a clip back on, and I think we're gonna rotate some tractors around, potentially chop some straw, get that done so when we get out in the fields, we're not having to deal with that. Tentative plan. I just had to run some tools up to the new barn quick. I took the gator just for fun. While I got the gator right here, I figured I'd come back out in this cornfield here and check that tile that we put in. I don't know how many, 50 yards or something. Just ran a single tile up to a wet hole. But we'll go check on that, just see how she's flowing with as much water as we got. Just kind of curious. I haven't been out there since the day I put it in, so might as well go for a little ride. It's kind of a question I've always wondered. You know, people pushing cover crops. I'm a big advocate of cover crops, but we kind of get a natural cover on like a lot of our ground every year. It's like a grassies. Obviously there's plenty of weeds, but are weeds really that bad if it's working as a cover crop and you still spray it off in the spring? That's a serious question. I mean, if you're going to plant a cover crop, you're going to spend money on cover crop, then kill it off in the spring. I guess weeds aren't really that big of a deal. I don't know. Like I said, this is all just a grass. Don't know. Either way, got a nice, nice level layer of cover crop here. Let's take a little peek here. Yeah, water's flowing, not super hard. Goes all the way up through here. Now it certainly dried it out. It'd be nice to get out here with something to kind of scratch that in, level it off a little bit here, but there's still just a tad bit of surface water. Those of you guys who remember, this was literally just a giant wet hole at the time. It wasn't very long. Like I said, I ran it from here down to there, but everything around it certainly does look drier. Curious to see how it is once we level it off. Get a crop growing here. You can see this was all just saturated. And it was flowing out of there. It's not flowing hard, but that's short of a tile. It's actually firmer out here than I expected it to be with all the rain that we got. But I guess that's a positive. Little rough. I guess that wasn't as exciting as I pictured in my brain. You do something like that, you always picture water just flushing out of it, but like I said, that's short of a tile. It is what it is. But yeah, I suppose we'll go back and get after it. I got that tractor washed up, got the merger hooked back on. I got to put the rock guard. We've got a homemade rock guard that kind of bolts to my hitch, stops the rocks from flinging up towards the tractor cab. Got to get that bolted onto the merger, and then the merger, that whole rig is officially ready to go. So that's a good feeling. And after that, well, I'll see what else comes to mind, I guess. It's kind of that time of day. But, man, these old gators without any suspension, they're certainly rougher than the new ones, but are handy to have. little bugger. You say you need things to do. It's kind of a homemade deal, but I'll show it to you once we get her tightened down. Ooh, that is not good. This is just how mine is going. This baby was just seriously smoking. And that's not good, because I sent my Milwaukee back in. My Milwaukee had a 5-year warranty on it. That was having problems too. So I said, well, I got the Ingersoll. I'll send that back in to get warranted. The batteries were always sloppy on it, and it was making quite a crunching noise. So I sent that in to get warranted. And now the Ingersoll's about to poop the bed. Looks like we might end up buying another Impact. No bueno. Yeah, we managed to get her tightened down there, but it's a little crude. But it certainly does the trick. It just blocks, so when this head's down on the ground, the teeth are going this way, and you got your adjustable skid shoes, so you should never be down in the rocks. But primarily when we're in our triticale ground, that's, you know, virgin ground as far as running a merger across it, on occasion you'll see some stones getting tossed, and yeah, you don't want to take out a window. Those suck, and they're not cheap. So just a simple little grate, that stops it for the most part. The only problem you have any troubles when you're in really heavy stuff. It's very rare, but on occasion the windrow will actually be deeper than that, in which case I just zing it off. But I mean, that's got to be a heck of a windrow to bother. I think it's only ever happened once, so got that done. Check that off the list. Just kind of have a running checklist in my head of just little stuff like that that's like, should get done, doesn't need to get done. If I had to go merge right this instant, I could have done it without it. I've got a list of stuff like that in my head with everything on the farm that's like, okay, it's only a 5-10 minute job, but you take 10 of those and you get yourself, you know, pretty good amount of time, and it's just the jockeying around to get it done. But that's what days like today are for. Miserable days. That's what it's for. All right, so the next order of business is getting this thing all flushed out. It will just unfold in here without hitting that door. But it is, once again, sprinkling out, so didn't really want to take it out there. But yeah, I'm going to go grab the leaf blower. We'll turn it on and run it, and we'll blow it out the best we can. And originally, so generally what we do, we plant our longest season first down to our shortest season corn. So the other day I actually had a tote 105 on. But the issue is this year, we're probably going to be out of corn silage in August. We did not budget appropriately or put up near enough last year. We weren't necessarily anticipating on growing as fast as we did over the last 8 months. As you guys who watch the channel, we've kind of internally grown 300 plus head since we chopped. Weren't really anticipating on that, but you know, it is what it is. We got the room, we got the capacity in the parlor. We just didn't have the feed. So we're gonna end up having to buy corn silage at some point here this summer. But our new plan of attack is we want to get 100 acres of short season corn planted right off the jump. So I would like to think if we're planting here in a week or so, 94-day corn, I'd like to think, you know, probably late August, last week of August, sometime in there, we should be able to get under motion. So the first stuff I'm going to use, these 2 totes each, that one's about a third full. This one probably only has a few bags in it. This is leftover seed from last year. That's 94 day. This is 95 day. we are probably gonna blend. I'm just gonna put them in the same tote because we're gonna load them in the corn planter at the same time and get rid of them at the same time. So I'm probably gonna unload one tote into the other. We'll put it on the back of that seed tender. So what I do is after I try to blow everything out and get it cleaned out as good as I can, I'll start the machine, I'll put a trash can underneath it, and I will catch the first, half a trash can load of seed, because there's always, a little bit of mice turds, a little bit of triticale wheat seed mixed in. There's no way to get this thing completely cleaned out. That has worked for me anyways, and there's nothing worse than getting that crap in your corn planter. So the plan is to do that. I'm gonna use the old seed because 1, we got to get rid of it. 2, it's short season corn. And 3, if I'm gonna get rid of half a trash can to a trash can load of corn seed anyways, might as well be the stuff from last year. So that's what we're gonna dive into here. There wasn't much in that one at all. Probably a bag or so is all. Go ahead and break this tote down. There's zero confusion about inventory. It's gonna take me a minute. Every year it takes me a minute to remember how this thing's break down. Had to set my purse down. Golly. One down. A bunch more to go. Jack's out mowing the lawns. A little bit of rain won't stop him. Keep the place looking sharp. This is another one of those jobs. It's not a 10-minute job, but every spring we got to go down through. We put the water tank. Oh, it's that fertilizer truck that we got. We've got a spigot on it that goes to a hose to our gas pressure washer. Go down through and you wash this whole fence. Get all that black grime off of it from winter time. It's nobody's favorite job. Got draw straws. This one got backed into with a cattle trailer. I'm really hoping we can just take this one down. Used to be, there was gates right here and right there up to it. And it kind of worked as a pretty fence back when we used to run fresh cows. Used to calve cows in this barn. We'd run them up to the milk barn back before we built the new barn. We've since taken it down. We put a driveway through here. I would like to take that fence down, take that curb out, take this little bit of lawn out and make it driveway. But just went to start it and it won't start. It's just turning over. I hate small engines. I truly hate small engines. So Tyler's a small engine guy. He's gonna come down and take a look at it. I got it on video the other day, me saying, gotta start this, check it, and it fired right up and it ran perfect. Ning, 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 ning. Nothing. So I hate small motors. I truly do. Kind of a dick.
What?
Came right down and it fired right up.
Just gotta listen to what's going on.
Yeah, whatever. He's used to handling small things, small motors. LOL. Stupid joke. My bad. Alright. Strap this down. I got it. The problem is it all kind of hangs out on that auger. Oh well. We'll just keep running it. Kind of tight quarters in here. California's a brand new man. Trying to make it. So the door's on that left side, so you always want to have that away from you. California's brand new man. Alright, so that's on. Alright. Open her up. Yep. Good call. Get there. He's shutting the drain. Got to get a little bit of lube for this thing. Help with two hands. So that was a little bit aggressive. That was more aggressive than I thought. So the problem is you got to make sure you shut that slide door, because in order to fold it down, you don't want that auger full of seed. So you shut the slide door and you got to keep running it, and there was more seed in there than I anticipated. What are you going to do? So that got a little fuller than I thought. I'll probably get a grain scoop and scoop the top half of that off. For those of you who are thinking, man, they waste a lot of seed. Even if it was full like this, it doesn't go to waste. We use the dirty seed on food plots for deer. So we'll take this little pail around out in the woods to 3 or 4 different spots, and we'll plant, like, I don't know what they are, half acre, probably not even, little food plots for deer with our dirty corn. So it all gets used, promise. So I'm gonna put the top on that. This is all folded back up. I'm gonna stop on my way home and get a pail of seed talc. I am also gonna run up to the shop and get a can of chain and cable lube to lube these chains. Don't know if you guys heard that grinding. Pretty nasty sounding. I'm gonna, what other date corn do we got? I'm gonna put one more tote of short season on. That should be enough to get us through, because I got 4 bags in the planter already. Plus that's probably a third full to half full. Get another tote. What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? This is 95 day, so that's 95 day. I put them on top of one another, so probably gonna be that stuff there, to be honest with you. What the heck is this? I don't remember this seed. I don't remember this. Oh, this is Envision corn. This is our first year we're planting a tote of this stuff. Relative maturity 97. So that's 95, 97, 101, 103, 105. That's right. I forgot I put those in order. So we'll probably throw a tote of that 95 day on there, and she will be ready to rock and roll. Having said that, speaking of rock and roll, it is 5 o'clock. It is my daughter's birthday. I do have a dinner to get to. So I'm gonna throw this tote on here. We're gonna get that chain and cable lube this chain. I'm gonna get the heck out of here, guys. So thank you very much for watching. It's always appreciated. I've had some more comments on hats. They will be here the end of the week. So I will say this in each video this week. They'll be here at the end of the week. If you guys are interested in a hat, I'm gonna sell them for $30. I will put my contact information in the description of the video. Check out the description of the video and get a hold of me. I'm gonna do it the long way, because I'm not gonna pay for a website to do it until I know. It just seems like a headache. So I'm gonna do it the long way. You can send me an email or a text message on your address. I will look up the cost to ship it to you. I will let you know the total for the hat. You can decide whether you want one or you don't want one. If you want one, I will let you know how we will make that work. That's gonna be my wife's department. PayPal, Venmo, stuff like that. So, end of the week. But if you guys are interested in a hat, contact information down there. Thank you very much for watching, guys. It's always appreciated. See you guys tomorrow. See what fun we can get into. How about it? Guys.